Welcome back to the Sanctuary, Final Fantasy XIV Dawntrail, and the magical DPS questline. Kruznik X here, Arya Stormborn back at Stormborn Castle.
Hello.
Last episode, we discovered the true identity somewhat of the Justiciar. He is a boy by the name of Virajan, who seeks to be a hero of his own right, but doesn't plan on doing any of the work. We happen to stumble upon his father, a rather wealthy merchant, who told us that Virajan stole his maps and expertise of trade routes. We're determined to stop him, but before we do, well, we don't really need to spin the wheel of summoners, only because, the wheel of mages, because we've already got one more job on the list to show off, and that is summoner. So, summoner. I am loving the gear in certain aspects of it. There are certain parts of it I could take or leave, like maybe the parka a little bit. But yeah, it definitely has a nice Turali vibe to it. The book is still ever the same though, but I'm not gonna gripe on that anymore that I already have. Anyway, let's get right down to it with the next quest in our journey, the level 96 quest, Floundering Fame. Greetings, Chris. Virajan's father has been as good as his word and has confessed the truth of his son's actions to whomever will listen. Even among the younglings, far fewer sing the Justiciar's praises. The tide is turning in our favor at last, and the Radiant host are making ready to tighten the net. Speaking of which, they had curious news to share. They've been examining the stones left behind by the Justiciar and noticed a pattern. They were all varieties of rock commonly found near the site of each encounter. For instance, near the Giant Skull grounds, the Justiciar seems to have called down a hail of what else but Giant Skull. I have my own theories about what this means, but I'd like to hear your thoughts, Chris. The rocks weren't summoned, but moved. Indeed, the perch of the apex likely lifts whatever stones are nearby and brings them crashing down to earth. If our suspicions are correct, we're one step closer to unraveling its mysteries. But despite these favorable developments, the Justiciar's popularity remains a problem. Even with the recent blow to his credibility, his most ardent followers still idolize him. In fact, I hear he's handing letters to the youth of Razadhan, though their contents are a closely guarded secret. All the more reason to investigate, don't you think? Once we get to Razadhan, if I question people around the marketplace, could you cover the city's western quarter? That's where his younger followers tend to gather. After we've collected enough information, let's meet to share our findings. See you again in Razadhan, Chris! Back to Razadhan again. Alright, we are heading by way of Rudavea's Fibers. Or Ruveda Fibers, I should say. Alright, let's start with the Sulking Youth. The Justiciar gave me that invitation himself, only for some thief to snatch it right out of my hand. Oh, whoops, wrong voice tone. Huh? You believe in the Justiciar too? Well, I didn't have a chance to read the whole letter before it was stolen, but he's gathering his most devoted for a special audience. The bastard who stole my invitation is clearly up to no good. He even muttered something about getting revenge. But who could hate someone so noble? Oh, you're the one who's always following that Tepeke around. I heard she's spreading rumors about the city's savior. I won't let her harm his reputation any more than she already has, so I have nothing to say to her lapdog. Yeah, I know about the letters. Me and my friends didn't get one, though. The grown-ups get angry if we talk about the Justiciar. But guess what? I heard Zashal talking about them over by Merid's Mehane. He had a big grin on his face, too. Does that mean the Justiciar isn't a bad man like the grown-ups say? The most useful clue points to the merchant Zashal having some connection to Virajan. He was last seen near Merid's Mehane. There's my carbuncle following me like a lapdog. Oh yeah, I was gonna change my glamour plate a little bit. There we go. It's true what they say. A fool and his guild are soon parted. Huh? Why, if it isn't one of the heroes of the final days? This isn't about that map I showed to your companion, is it? You'll find it points the way to the vaults of Azadar III, exactly as described. I may have employed a few, creative methods to entice my customers, but what merchant doesn't? I see you're as unscrupulous as ever. Now, a man can't fill his belly on virtue and honesty. Anyway, something tells me that's not why you're here. You're after the Justiciar? Your choice of quarry is unusual, to say the least. But perhaps I can help you along, eh? A young man came asking for a map to open the way to Uzna. I sold him every map I had, assuring him that the one he needed was among them. I suppose he found it, as I hear these letters that were handed out contain a copy of the map. I dare say that young fellow was the Justiciar himself. He's planning a clandestine meeting at the Uzna canals. Mind you, it appears he has no shortage of enemies. No doubt they'll try to interfere. Thankfully, Radzadhan isn't known for large-scale criminal organizations. That hasn't kept the less scrupulous citizens from dirtying their hands when times are desperate. From what I hear, bandits seeking to rob trade caravans keep running into the Justiciar during his fiend-felling exploits, causing their raids to end in failure. Like as not, they're trying to infiltrate his group of followers and settle the score. And that's where my knowledge of the matter ends. If you're wondering where the meeting place is, all I remember is that the spot marked on the copied maps is somewhere in the Shroud of the Samga. So, does that answer your queries? Alright, the Shroud of the Samga, huh? Where is she? Oh, I'll just go down the path. You okay there, babe?
No, just snot nose.
Tepeke? Those in support of the Justiciar didn't seem surprised when I told him of his misdeeds. But still they were reluctant to betray him. In short, I've had no luck. What about you, Chris? Your investigative abilities never cease to amaze me. As for this gathering Virijan is planning, I expected some scheme to prop up his flagging popularity. Even so, many of his devotees are younglings ill-equipped to make the perilous journey to the meeting place. If they've any sense, rather than attempt to travel there directly, they'll stop at settlements along the way to rest and confirm the route. You said the map led to the Shroud of the Samga, yes? That means Palaka Stand is the closest settlement. I hear many took refuge there during the final days, and now it's now a bustling town in its own right. The arrival of more people would hardly raise eyebrows, making it the perfect place to avoid unwanted attention while they make ready. We should head there before they leave on the final leg of their journey. All right, for once we actually go to Palaka's Stand. Oh, is it in the cabin? No. Oh, there's Tepeke. I was right, Chris. Many of the youths are carrying pieces of parchment. Those must be the letters. Yet it seems my reputation has preceded me. Our suspected followers clearly avoid me whenever I try to approach them. Still, we can use this to our advantage. None of them would dare leave Palaka Stand while there's risk I might follow after. I'll keep watch over their comings and goings, but we'll make sure to leave obvious blind spots. If one of the Justiciar's followers attempts to escape the village, I need you to go after them. Now, find a vantage point that affords a good view while keeping you hidden. Once you've started perusing our unwitting target, I won't be far behind. And here we go. All right. Follow the young man from a safe distance. Okay, yeah. Time to follow the map. The one's following. Is someone there? I'm in the clear. I need to hurry. I made it. Did something move? It's just my imagination. The map points here. Made it. With that, I'm looking. The portal should be nearby. Then I'll finally meet him. What? You're the hero who saved us in the final days. What are you doing here? You're working alongside that woman I saw at the village. I've heard about the rumors she's spreading, but I had no idea she'd enlisted your aid. The Justiciar saved me, you see. I was transporting goods for a local merchant who was too miserly to even hire a proper escort. A ferocious creature ambushed me, and my savior appeared from nowhere, saw off the beast. I owe him my life. That's why I came here. See if there's any truth to the rumors. And now I understand I'm in over my head. I'm going back home. Here, you can have the map. I trust you to take the measure of the Justiciar and share the truth with us all.
Apologies for watching from the shadows, but I was afraid my presence might have startled the lad. I was able to hear what he said, though, and his gratitude towards the Justiciar seemed genuine. I dare say the other followers feel similarly. Well, now that we have a map of our own, let's open the portal and confront Virajan. What a sight. Did the treasure cause this?
Oh my! If it isn't the hero who saved Razatan! Nay, the world itself! I never expected someone so vaunted to attend my audience, but I am honored nonetheless. Enough of your games, Virajan! Stop this madness at once! After giving you such a warm welcome, these are the thanks I get? While 'tis true that I was once known by that name, 'twas merely a guise I wore until I discovered my true self. So long as I am the masked hero of Razatan, I shall not suffer any to call me Virajan.
But that is your name, isn't it?
Why don't you drop the act and try being a true hero? A true hero, you say? Indeed. Perhaps casting aside this mask is the price I must pay for the adoration I'm due. Very well. My name shall ring throughout Radz-at-Han. Let it be known that the Justiciar is Virajan, and Virajan is the Justiciar. What are you saying? You unleashed the Perch of the Apex upon your own followers. You know its name? Wait, I remember you. The girl from Shaktural, yes? Your village's artifact is not discriminating in its wrath. Some among my followers harbored wicked intentions, and it brought sorrow unto my enemies. The true of heart caught in the aftermath were merely unfortunate. But they believed in you, even though you tricked them. What kind of hero are you? You too would oppose me? I had thought that as fellow saviors we might find some common ground. Yet it would seem we are destined to walk different paths. Now faced with unknown peril, a great fervor rages within me. However, here is not where we shall match wits. No, a more fitting battleground is in order. We will meet again soon. You have my word. Shut up! Ugh! You know, when you're in the fog of something, you know, you're supposed to disappear with it. So, can you tell us what happened here? He gathered us all around to made a grand speech. Claimed he was the hero that would drive back the flood of fiends threatening Tavnar. Then he spoke of his anger at the recent rumors. He told us to go forth and repair his damaged reputation so that the people would love him again. He became quite impassioned, in fact. As for us two, we were here to teach him a lesson. Biding our time till his back was turned. We couldn't stomach his self-righteous dribble any longer. He acts like he's a god to come to grace Thavnir, but most people have grown wise to his tricks, including the Radiant Host. We stepped forward and told him as much, then demanded that he admit he's been pulling the wool over everyone's eyes. That's when he started waving that thing about. We soon learned that the rumors of its power were true, and Roxol had fallen down around us. Even us true believers were not spared. There was nowhere to run. The Justiciar said such power cannot be fettered, and that sacrifices are unavoidable. And all the while, he was laughing. We pleaded with him for mercy, but that just made him angrier. He flourished the object again, and yet more rocks assailed us. It was horrible. Storms big and small raining down endlessly. Until you two appeared, that is. Thank you for telling us what happened. I only wish we could have arrived sooner. Now, just to set things straight, it was you two that brandished your weapons first, yes?
Well, I won't deny that. We were only trying to bring the truth of his misdeeds to light. We might have had some personal scores to settle on top of that.
Before I left Palakistan, I asked the Radiant host there to look out for anyone returning from the wilderness. I suggest you head there and seek their aid. While you're there, share with them what you just told us. And as for the pair of you, don't even think about running away, or you'll have us to deal with. All right, Tepeke, let's see what you got. Everyone has returned to the care of the Radiant host. As for those ruffians who meant to attack Virajan, it seems they had a history of violence for which they may soon answer. Several among Virajan's followers were dealt serious wounds, but we can be grateful that none lost their lives. It's exactly as the old saying describes. The master of the Apex shall be showered with good fortune, yet leave only sorrow in their wake. The part about sorrow certainly seems true, at least. We can but hope that Virajan's spell over the people will be broken at last when word of what's transpired here becomes common knowledge. Let that buoy our spirits as we return to Yedlamad.
Sounds good to me. Ooh. Tepeke?
Well, that was certainly an ordeal. Although Virajan got away, we can look back upon what transpired to plan our next course of action. It appears that the treasure takes rocks from the surrounding environment and makes them rain down upon the Wilder's surroundings. However, the power seems to be somewhat haphazard. While Virajan himself wasn't struck, the boulders assailed friend and foe alike. Something else has been nagging at me as well. The stones we saw in the canal seemed quite a bit larger than the others. I don't know what to make of it, but I will give it some thought. We still don't know exactly how he controls the Apex's abilities either. We must focus on these mysteries as we continue our investigation. As for Virajan himself, he was just as his father said, wasn't he? His so-called heroism is an empty charade, like a child playing at being a hero from their storybooks. He seems motivated by a vain desire to gain the love of the people, yet he cares nothing for their well-being. He'll learn his lesson soon enough though. None will sing his praises after word of what happened at Uznair spreads. Even he must know this. I worry that his desperation will drive him the worst misdeeds. If the treasure is used with reckless abandon, it could cause untold harm. I must discuss this with the Radiant host. Together, we might be able to capture Virajan before he attempts something drastic. Stand by for now, Chris. I'll be in touch the moment I have something to share.
The next Magic DPS quest will be the level 98 quest Behind the Helm. We'll take a quick break and we'll be back with more. If you're watching on Twitch, stay tuned. If you're watching on YouTube, here are the links provided. See you in a bit.